Hello and welcome back to my blog. Another one from my grandfather's book, and not to focus on dying, but that's what's going on in the family, and he had more than one. This was about his brother, older brother. It's called Doc Leaves Us. I like this one. We had a grand and glorious visit on Saturday. The next Tuesday morning at 2 o'clock, he slipped away from us quietly and suddenly. He was my brother. It was not like him to go that way. I am sure if he had known it was so near, he would have said, "Hey now, wait just a minute. I've got a lot of things to do yet." And believe me, he would have been heard, too. He had a powerful, resonant voice that was the joy of all the neighborhood. He was always singing, morning, noon, and night. I can just hear those streets that are paved with gold echoing and re-echoing to his big bass voice. Rock of Ages, Faith of Our Fathers, or Hello, Dolly. It made no difference. He could thrill you and make you get religion with anything. He sang because his heart was full of joy and gladness. He loved life more than anyone I have ever known. There was no room for a long face or a sour puss. He had his share of sorrow, but his wonderful, wholesome attitude only used such times as stepping stones to a fuller, happier life. He was not afraid of death. He was afraid of nothing. He was having such a wonderful time that a little break in the program meant nothing to him. He never said it in so many words, but he always gave you the impression that heaven would have to be pretty good to be better than the joyous experience he was having day after day. He was not a saint. He would be the last one to lay claim to such distinction. He was just a great and good man with a heart of gold. He loved his fellow men of low and high estate. People in his neighborhood were proud to tell you they knew Doc Sims. It was an honor. They bragged about it. They felt this way because when they were with him, they were better men and women. They felt more important. His influence did something to their very souls. It was just simply good to be with him. He always wanted to acquire a lot of wealth, and he was eminently successful. He did not want money just for the sake of being called wealthy. He wanted it for the good he could do with it. People who did not know him well often misunderstood him. He was often a sort of Robin Hood. He despised a crook, and when his wrath descended on some slicker who was robbing the poor in any way, shape, or form, it was something to behold. That Saturday was a wonderful day. We talked about our boyhood days at the dinner table. We regaled our families, as we always did, with great tales. He could take a little germ of an idea and build it up into something exciting and entertaining. One of his best series included tales of the hardships he and I encountered while we were growing up. They really do seem like hardships now, but back there, they were just the normal way of life. After dinner, we listened to our alma mater win an exciting football game. He graduated several years before I did, but for years we always had our stadium seats together. There were no two people in that stadium who made more noise and rooted more enthusiastically than we did. When our team made a good play, we jumped up and down and thumped each other on the back. He followed the team to the Rose Bowl. He just about lived from one football season to the next, although he did like all sports. We were watching another big game on TV while we listened to our team play. On our team was a big linebacker who came from his neighborhood. Doc knew him from the day he was born, and was he ever proud of him. On one play, someone blocked a punt by the other team, and Doc's pride and joy fell on it. Doc looked at me. He didn't say a word. He just held up his hand, and the look of pride in his eyes spoke volumes. That was Doc. He was always happiest when he could watch someone else do something worthwhile. He wanted his friends and loved ones to make their lives count in whatever job they had to do. After the game, he said, "Do you remember?" And we were off again. We used to keep a bunch of hogs back in the woods. They lived on beech nuts, other kinds of nuts, grubs, and tender shoots. We supplemented this with corn. It was our job to throw them the corn. We would walk quietly back to the woods together, get the corn from the crib there, and throw it over the fence. Then he would start me back home. There were boogers in the woods. They would eat us up. He would run faster than I could, so before he yelled, "Woo-wee!" he would give me a head start, because that call might also arouse the boogers. That great heart of his has stopped, but my brother will never die. As long as men live noble, inspiring lives, some of them will be those who came under his spell. The Creator makes only a few like him in each generation. We can only be eternally grateful that one was our brother. That's the end of that one. Make it a great day, and bye for now.